Hello, this is Lisa Russick with the podcast We Are All Psychic. And today we have Shaun with us for an interview. Shaun, would you like to say hello?
Hello, everyone. I'm so thankful and grateful to be here, and I'm excited about this interview.
And I am excited that you are here. And I know the listeners and watchers, this is a video podcast on Spotify and YouTube, are excited as well. How'd you like I did that, slip that in there?
Yeah.
So, Shaun, I have a question for you right away.
Sure.
You think we're all psychic?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I think we all, if you're calling yourself a human and you're here on this place we call Earth, you are absolutely psychic. Now, to the degree, it varies between every individual, whether you realize it or not. But absolutely, I believe we're all gifted with this gift. Just how big this gift is just depends on the person.
Yeah, it does, I guess. And so how did you get to that answer, and what made you decide that?
So the short story, which it turns into a long story, is I had a near-death experience. Back in 2006, I was like this high-powered attorney, I guess you could say that, the 5-inch heels, and I'm going to court. And just really embracing a life that was, it was good for when it was good, but I realized I got really sick. I just started having these stomach aches every day, and it got so bad around I think it was my 30th birthday. And I remember I was taking all this medication. I would take ibuprofen just to kind of get through the day. And it was at one point I was taking about 1,600 milligrams of ibuprofen just so I can stand up straight.
Oh my God.
Because I was having so much pain in my stomach. And this is also a testament to how, we don't really pay attention to our bodies, because my body had been telling me that everything, my life, everything was shifting and changing, and that I needed to change. And I probably ignored it. And there was a point where, and at the time I was married, I went into the hospital, and I was out of it. And the surgeon, thank God, because I've been going to the emergency room like every week. And they would send me home with ibuprofen, say, check with your gynecologist. No one could figure out what it was. So finally, I think I fainted, and I woke up. I don't remember waking up, but in the emergency room, emergency surgery. Thank God for the surgeon who just said, we're going to open you up, and I don't know what we're going to find. I don't know what this is, but we need to do this. And thank God they did, because I was told I was probably about 6 hours away from death, from dying. I had 8.5 feet of between my large and my small intestines removed, because at that point they had died. So I was dying from the inside. I had a colostomy bag for about a year. I had a bag. I ended up having a resection and put it back together.
Right.
But I remember being on the operating table. I do remember that, because I was going in and out of consciousness, and I remember that.
Yeah.
And I felt like it felt like I was kind of on a cross, because it was it wasn't like a bed. It was kind of like it was shaped like a cross, and my arms were out on either side. And I remember seeing, and you hear when they talk about having near-death experiences, you see this light. I absolutely saw this blinding light. I saw this blinding light, and I heard there was a song called "Grooves in the Heart," which is not even.
I love that song. Grooves in the
Heart. I heard playing, and I feel like I was in the video.
Love that song so much.
It was the oddest thing, because that song was playing very loud when
you were in your NDE,
in this whole thing. Yeah. And almost like I was in a video, because the video is very psychedelic, and there's colors and there's sound. And I heard this like buzzing, and a feeling came over me where it was just like, it was peace. It was calm. I saw myself, I lifted up, and I could see I was floating above my body, and I could see, everybody kind of buzzing around. And I saw myself laying on the on the table with tubes and everything.
Do you remember what you felt or anything? Did you feel anything emotionally or
I absolutely felt peace.
peace?
I felt calm, and I felt almost as if, and this was where I now believe it was a higher power communicating with me, which was, it was a conversation without words. So I wasn't me speaking. It was just a telepathic conversation where the question was, or, do you want to go back? If you don't want to go back, it's okay. Either
Okay.
way.
Okay.
And I felt with the most calm, it was kind of like, okay, I think I'm going to go back.
Wow.
But it was no pressure either way. I didn't feel like it wasn't sadness. It wasn't anger. It wasn't anxiety. It was just like, I have some things I need to finish here. So I'm going to go back, and it
Wow.
meaning going back into my body. So I went back.
Who did you talk to in your mind? Do you know who it was? Was it God or was it a
I
entity or
absolutely believe it was God. God for me is the all. It's
yeah,
everything. It's
yeah.
it's it's everything. So and it was it was, like I said, it was a telepathic communication, and it was just calm. It was just the feeling of, it's going to be okay either way. So almost like you're not going to get penalized if you say, I'm out of here,
Right.
and I'm not going to be in trouble if I decide to go back. It was just a choice
Well,
at
you
that.
were given a choice. Yeah.
Yes. So I felt like, I went back into my body, and it was a choice even then, because, the idea was that, well, you'll be on medication for all your whole life. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to heal myself. And that was in 2006. So I can sit here and say that I have not had any issues or any problems. And I was told I'd be living with, a serious condition for a while, which I do not. So yeah, but that was the
Congratulations.
first time. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, that was when I heard the voice.
I bet you did.
The voice.
Yeah.
Very clear. Yes.
Dang.
Yeah.
So is that like, did you always have spiritual abilities and skills, or is that after that NDE, near death experience, that
I
they
can say
came through?
after, yeah. So before that, and I want to remember, like, as a child, everybody who knows me at that point, like, I was very afraid. Like, I don't want to see anything. I don't want to hear anything.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Okay.
want to. So, but after
Interesting.
that, near death experience in 2006, that is where things started really opening up for me. And it coincided with a lot of things in my life. Like, everything shifted. I got divorced. I had a kid. Well, not in that order, but I had a kid, got divorced, got business divorce, changed careers, changed. I moved 1,000 miles from where I was originally, so everything was like shifting. And I remember there was a point where asking the question, what do I want to do with my life? What is happening with my life? And I probably spent about 6 months just going to the beach. I mean, thank God I was living close to the beach. And I believe that water speaks to us
Yes.
in so many ways. So it was asking the question, what is my purpose on this journey? What am I supposed to do? And honestly, it was like the answers were coming, whether that was in music, it was people I would speak to, it was just these serendipitous moments that were happening. And they were happening at first. I was keeping a journal because it was like so amazing. And now it's like, it's so a part of who I am, and it's a part of my life. It happens all the time. So now, and everything is clear. But I had to get to a place where I accepted it, because
Yeah.
I did go through a period of time where I did not accept it. So, it's like, well, you hear something, well, I don't know what that is, or you see something, or like,
And it sounds like even as a child, you might have been doing that.
yes. So
Hardcore because
now
you were scared. You were scared of something.
I can actually relate it back to, like, well, what was I afraid of? Well,
Mm-hmm.
I saw some things, and
Mm-hmm.
my mind tried to rationalize what it was, but hey, it was there. Or, hey, I heard some things,
Yeah.
but my mind rationalized what it was. So it was kind of putting together the pieces after that NDE, and then getting into a place to allow, and being able to receive it. and
Yeah.
then practicing it, then
Yeah.
you know, and it's just like it was a watershed after that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. I've never had a near death experience quite like that. And I don't think we've ever had anyone talk about a near death experience on the podcast. Surprisingly,
Wow.
they have said they've had them and they didn't go into like detail like you did. That's just wonderful. So, like moving forward from that up to 2025, what was
Mhm.
that, 20 years later and 19 years later or so?
Yeah, yeah, right.
Um,
Gosh.
so what are you doing with yourself now?
So I started I guess it's a school that I'm still working on called Aligning Soul. And the goal is to help and assist those on their spiritual journey. I believe that this is part of our work when we get here. My theory is that Earth is this place where it's kind of like kindergarten. You know, you learn to play in a sandbox. You learn some of the primary colors, the social skills. But the goal is to get what you need and get up out of here in a certain way, you know, so that
And
you
that's kind of, I
can,
bet from that NDE you had that because it's like they gave you a choice.
yeah.
I've never heard of
So
that before. Yeah.
right, which also, you know, which opens up like, well, this is not the end all be all. There's so
Yeah,
much
it certainly
out
does open
there.
that up.
Yeah. So my goal is to bring as many people as I can into the fold. I think we are all on our journeys in different parts, and there are some of us who um, just you know not necessarily need someone to tell you what your journey is about, but to give you the tools so that you can discover it on your own.
And talk about
Um,
it, words to use to talk about what we're having. Because that's like my hardest part when I first was experiencing things is I didn't know it was real. I didn't have any words like empath,
Absolutely.
simple words that most people know now, and I
Yes.
didn't have them like spirit guide. If I had had that one, my life would have changed a lot faster or sooner.
Yeah, would
Like,
it gave right an understanding of what that was. And yeah, even for me, it's just, you know, and in this world that we're talking about, there's a language, and there's a language that we use, and then there's a language that there are no words for it.
right.
You know, so it's using when we talk about
Intuition.
Mhm. So, but yeah, so that is my goal with Aligning Soul. I do intuitive readings, um, just helping those, just you know, just aligning some of this stuff and making sense of it all for
Yeah.
for others. That's the goal.
That's really cool. I bet you're gonna like that school's gonna do a really good job. Because I was just picturing in my head you as an attorney, and I imagine you won a lot if you were in like because you have such good intuition. How could you not? Didn't you ever wonder back in those days how you knew what to do and what to say, and how did you just think you were very smart, or did you just kind of like did you ever even guess that you might be picking up on something that would work for you, or
Yeah, no, I mean I knew. Yeah, I mean I was the I was the person that like let me know what your zodiac sign is because I can
nice. So you always had an
tell
interest.
how you
Okay.
yeah
Yeah.
I can figure some things out
Really
from from
cool.
that. So yeah, you know, it's a tool. It's a gift, and it's a tool to utilize, you know,
Yes.
to make your life better and the lives of others better.
Exactly. Yes. And I've seen through the years people who do it just for themselves that they don't get anything.
Absolutely.
They might get
Yeah.
that instant gratification if they want that, but or with whatever they
It
want,
doesn't last.
it doesn't
Yeah.
last. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So where are you from? Where do you live in this world?
So I'm originally from New York, New Jersey area. I lived in Maryland for many years when I went to school there. But now I am in South Florida. I've been
Oh,
here for
lucky
the last
you.
10
We're in
years.
South
I
Florida.
love it, Fort Lauderdale. So
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
yeah, between Fort Lauderdale and Miami, and you know, that in and of itself was such a calling. I needed to be here. I needed to be close to water. That's where my
Yes.
life was taking me.
Yeah.
I needed to be able to see the ocean. Um,
And the water see emotions, and I went through a period of time where I didn't even like taking showers and everything because I didn't want to face my emotions. I didn't look at it that way. But I didn't like feeling rain on me. I
Oh,
hated my
wow.
hands being wet, but I was ignoring my emotional responses because I was told to.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. Water
yes,
is so cleansing and it's
it
such a
is.
release,
It
and
is.
you get an opportunity, even just taking a shower to release, all of the emotional baggage.
Yeah, and wipe it
Wonderful.
off. Yeah,
Yep.
if listeners and watchers, if you're ever in a shower, and you're washing off your muck, you can pretend you're pulling the energy. Don't pretend you're actually doing it. You
Absolutely.
just kind
I
of
do it
rub down
every
your
single
arms and
time.
pull it out and flick it out the window or out the floor or something like that. That's Reiki other than
Absolutely.
Reiki, and it works for bathing too. And it can like kind of get like aches and pains out in the shower and stuff like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah. Let it go down the
Yeah.
drain.
Drain, yes, the drain, perfect. I like that.
Yep. Yeah.
So, Shaun, where can the listeners find out about you and learn about your school? And
Sure. So I have a website. It is aligningsoul.com, where you can book a reading, or we can talk about ways to improve your life. I also wrote a book. It's actually a journal. It's called Personal Project 2025.
oh, okay, pull it down just a
Um,
little bit, like in front of your face, because
oh,
it won't blur that way. There you go.
oh,
Personal project 2025, creating your.
yes, creating your life path through meditation and journaling.
Oh,
So,
thank you. Okay.
um,
Oh, I love that.
thank
That's
you.
a
Yeah,
great
so it's
idea.
available. It's available on my website, and it's on Amazon as well. It's been a labor of love because it's actually, I'm a person, I like, I like I like things to be in order, even this
Yeah,
life. So this is it's a way of organizing your life,
I
for
love
the next
that. I'm
step.
probably
So
gonna get that because I that just sounds fascinating, like a workbook for spiritual.
yes, it's a
That's
workbook. It's a
amazing.
good workbook. Yeah, it's fun, but there's things to think about, and I think some of what I wanted to incorporate in it was some journal prompts that are blockages, to a lot of us,
I love that.
but to
I've got a
get
lot
through
of
that. Yeah.
them.
Yeah, and we all do. We all have our blockages, whether we came here with them or somebody gave it to us.
That's awesome. I can just tell you have a lot of wisdom and knowledge in the esoteric stuff, just like you do the reality things, what we call the reality.
Yeah, right.
Because this is
Yeah.
reality, the psychic senses, to me. And I kind of I was I just want to ask you, like, what is an example of what you would teach? And I know everyone's taught differently, but like, how would you teach groups, or do you teach one on one, or
Yeah, so I've done a couple of groups, whether that is on abundance or prosperity or healing the inner child.
yeah?
And that's a big thing. So one of the prompts, or something that we work on, and I think it's really effective, is taking a picture of yourself when you were about 7 or 9 years old,
Okay,
and writing a letter to that person, writing a letter to your 7 or 9 year old self, you
love
as the
that.
adult
Yeah,
writing, and what would you say? What, some of
that's
those things.
great.
And it's so eye-opening, even to this day.
Yeah,
When I do that, or, just a question that's asked, because it opens up so much for healing,
it
and
does.
it's something that it's an inside job. I believe healing a lot of times is an inside job.
You can
Um,
get help, but ultimately it is an inside job at the end. Yeah,
yes. And we can do it. It's not,
we can.
we definitely can do it. You just have to have the tools. But that's a powerful one. Just speaking to, what would you say to your 7 year old self? What would you
Love that.
what would you
I've actually done that, not written it down, but I've like imagined talking to like a younger self, like a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old, 5-year-old, or something like that,
Mhm.
and telling her, "Well, wait till you're this age, and then this happens," and stuff like
Mhm.
that. But I was more depressed in my seven. I started getting depressed in puberty, so I had
Mhm.
more. We'll go back to that seventh grade self,
Yeah.
and she's all she's scared to death. She
Different,
doesn't know what's
right?
going on, and
Yeah.
so I try to take care of her a little, nurture her a little bit. So one of
Yeah.
my coworkers, Lori, at a place I work at called Cosmic Connections in town,
Mhm.
I worked there a couple of days a month and fill in. She did it like that kind of like an inner child walk. She did it like whatever she does, her energy healing is really neat. But I
Yeah.
could feel the energy moving out to my left when she had me walk through this meditation, and I did see my 12-year-old self, and talk to her and all that. And then she's like, oh, she's like, I'm moving. I could just tell she was moving the energy. I think she even waved her hand or something. I could feel it
Oh,
coming out, like that out, whatever it was.
wow.
Something that didn't feel like it should be there anymore. It was really cool. There's so many
Oh,
modalities, so many different ways people heal. It's amazing.
it
So,
is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I guess right now I'd love to thank my sponsor, Everclear. Everclear is an advice app and website where you can get advice from psychics and empaths so you can get the clarity you need to create the life that you deserve. And I'm an advisor on Everclear, and my name is no longer Lisa P. It is Lisa Russick for sure, for sure. On the Everclear app, it is, I think it's Everclear Advice app in the App Store. And I'm Lisa Russick on there now, if you can figure out my last name. And I'd love to, I feel like I can pick your brain, but you've got so much in there. I don't know where to start, honestly. I feel like you've got like a million and one little one sentence drops of wisdom that you can just drop
Try
all
me.
over the place, especially if you're a writer. I mean, you
Yeah.
have a way of putting things. It's just really succinct and perfect. And it has a lot of emotion to it too. Like I love it. And you're not at all intimidating. I mean, I find sometimes I'm intimidated by anybody, but you're just like really welcoming and your energy is very warm. I would, if I had found you before I never really found anyone. But like, when I didn't know anything and I'd found you, I would have followed you around like a puppy dog. you
Oh,
know? Teach you,
you.
teach you. But so yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. And
You.
do you have any advice for the listeners on I'll say they've had a near death experience
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it was profound, of course, in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say it's fading and they're starting to be afraid of life again. Maybe they had a reborn again feeling when they came out of their NDE. And then maybe that started to fade and that, now all the old insecurities are coming back, maybe something like that. I've heard of that happening.
Yes.
What advice would you give to that person who's starting to feel like the crush of reality, speaking of reality again, as far as being hard for them?
And this is why I feel like meditation and journaling, is so important. Because meditation is not just, I think people think like, well, you sit on a mountain and you just
Certain
quiet
way to
and
do
try to
it.
find your
Yeah.
mind. But there are so many ways to do it. But I believe that the deeper meaning of meditation is to really connect you with your higher self. And your higher self is, we are God. We are God. We are pieces of God, and we have godlike qualities. And the way that you connect to that is through meditation.
I love
So
that. Yeah.
yeah, so and it's at those times when we have those challenges or the adversity, or it's like you're feeling that disconnection, that's where you have to go within. There's nothing that is happening on the outside that is more important than what's happening on the inside.
Yeah.
So that connection it's the inside Wi-Fi, it's the inside Bluetooth. It's not outside.
Yeah.
So it's just really sitting with that, and I remember having those moments of, I don't know what to do, or I'm not feeling
Yeah.
whatever it is. And
Yeah.
that was pointing me to just kind of sit down, and for me, meditation takes all different forms. I can meditate while I'm walking. It depends on what's going on. I can meditate while I'm at the beach.
I'm
I can
dancing, I'm
meditate while
meditating.
I'm
Yeah. I'm in
dancing.
that
Right.
zone, yeah.
There's so many ways to do it. But before I get into that state, and this is what I would say in this situation when you're feeling that sort of disconnectedness is ask for what it is that you want. Ask for the guidance, ask for the right people, the right situations,
That's when you get the help.
and that's when it
Yeah.
comes to you, right?
Mhm.
So when you're at that loss, that's the best time to get into that meditative state and ask for the clarity that you're looking for. Ask for that guidance, ask for that direction,
It will
and
come. It may not
open.
come how you
Yeah,
expect it, is what I guess sometimes, but it will
absolutely.
come.
So yeah, if you got it, like, look, I need somebody with the blue coat on to come on Tuesday at the door. That's not happening. Um, but be open to receive, because I mean, I get wisdom, and I get spiritual help in the funniest and the different things I couldn't even think of,
Yeah.
so but it's just being open to that. Like, I'm open to receive however it's going to come.
That's great. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
And man, I just feel like I have so many questions, but I can't like think of any. You cover everything, like every angle of like things I might want to embellish or something. I just love it. Would you like to come back sometime and actually?
Absolutely.
I would
Please,
love
I
for
would
you to come
love.
back and let's like pick a really good topic that you can teach us because since you're a teacher, this
Yeah,
podcast we do a lot of lessons and stuff. So if you think of something you'd like to teach the listeners and watchers, great,
absolutely.
write me and you can come back and I'd love that.
Oh, I
We'd
would
love
love
lessons.
that.
Love
I
lessons.
would love that. I'm going to hold you to that too. Yeah.
Do write me and do not forget. I forget things, but try to write me. Yes, please do.
Yeah.
And thank you for that. And I guess well, you have anything you'd like to say to the listeners, like a fond farewell to a friend or anything?
Well, I'm just so grateful and thankful for the opportunity. I think this is a part of my journey. I've had one journey as this, this lawyer that was just very analytical. And not saying that I'm not that anymore, but I have learned to embrace, the evolution of me, and that's what this
Yeah.
is. So, very much more, spiritually in tune, and still continuing to learn, still on this journey, and learning to embrace that just as much as I embrace the other parts of myself. So I thank you for even highlighting this part of myself that is a part of my journey. I'm so grateful.
Thank you so much for being on the show. I really do want you to come back and teach something because I just know you're great at it. I know it. And lastly, thank you again, Shaun, and listeners and watchers. I love you very much. And Shaun, do you love the listeners and watchers?
Absolutely. Just
He does.
grateful and thankful for all of y'all.
We all love listeners and watchers. And I guess with that, we will let you go off to your lives and you can be as psychic as you want or don't want, but you're still psychic whether you like it or not, is what I think.
Right.
And everybody have a great time wherever you may be.
Thank you. Peace.
Bye.